All right, Benny, Kev, thank you very much for coming in. I know you're busy doing their photo shoot and getting all fancied up and lots of pictures and all that kind of stuff. But first, Benny, I need to know who's the best quarterback, you or Bo Levi?
Definitely him. I actually went and threw with the Stamps this summer when he was hurt and their U.S. guys couldn't get across the border. So I went and threw for their Canadian receivers. They needed a guy. Yeah, it was unreal. I couldn't shower, wash my hair for a day or two afterwards. But I went and put on a little bit of laser show at the park. It was fun.
So you got to practice with them?
Well, just with 3 of their Canadian receivers. I got invited back once. I declined because my arm was too sore, and then they retired me. It was fun.
So do you think it'd be fun for you guys to switch positions for, say, a week and have Bo Levi come on to Team Cooey and maybe you go and play for the Stamps for a week? I'll tell you why, is that Jackie Parker, do you remember Spaghetti Legs Parker?
No.
With the Edmonton Eskimos. He was a great quarterback, one of the best of all time, and played second for Matt Baldwin for a couple of years back in the day.
Really?
Really?
Well, I'm taking Bo this winter. We're going to go throw some rocks when we're available to, but I think he'd probably last a bit longer throwing lead than I would playing quarterback in the CFL, that's for sure. I'll tell you what, though, I would try. I would for sure try to do it, but I don't like my chances.
Before you get to Kevin, how are you enjoying your podcast? I love it.
Yeah, it's super fun. We've got to meet some great athletes. Talk to some people I never thought I'd get to talk to, shoot the breeze and give opinions on sports. I love sports, all kind of sports, not just curling. So it's been cool. It's been fun. Something to do during, obviously, when we were shut down with COVID. But a few more shows left, and then we're taking a break, obviously, for Olympic trials, his season. And then we'll see if we bring it back for season 2.
John Dunn, is he still involved with the team? What's his goal? I'd like to hear a little bit more because he's been with you, I don't even know. How long? How long has John been with you?
Yeah, he's been with me. I think it's around 14 years. So, he's been great. Lots of ups and downs. He keeps us kind of on track. The 4 of us aren't always the best, especially after a loss at, maybe looking back and seeing what we could have done better. So he just keeps us accountable, keeps us organized, make sure we're talking, which, especially if you're having a bit of a rough week, it's easy to try and, it's easy to not talk, right, especially with this guy.
It's always easy when you're winning, boys.
And then when you're losing, things get broken, Ben.
That's right. Yeah, I don't break stuff anymore. Just don't talk usually. Just kind of walk away. I'm do my own thing.
5th player. I'd like. There were some interesting things about that last Olympics. Who was allowed to go? Who's not allowed to go? Have you involved? I guess I should ask first. Do you have somebody in mind as a 5th? And has that person been involved so far? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, no, go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, actually, we have Denny Neufeld as our 5th. Oh. So, obviously, we all know him. We've played against him a lot. I've actually played in an event with him a couple of years ago. And, he's just a great positive guy, and he's been involved. We had him at an event last weekend, and he'll be coming to the Chestermere Slam as well. And a very successful curler. I think he's going to fit in great on our team, and he already has.
I didn't realize it was Danny. That's a great choice. In my opinion, that's a great choice. Yeah. You don't get I didn't know who it was going to be, and my next question was going to be, which of course I'm not going to bother asking because it was going to be, is the guy going to be credible?
Yeah,
can't ask that question about Denny Neufeld.
It's good for BJ because obviously the 3 of us live in Calgary. We get to practice together all the time. To have somebody in Winnipeg with BJ who he's familiar with, throwing rocks all the time, so that when he comes out to Calgary for our training camps, he's ready to roll. So it's good to have Denny there holding the broom for BJ and keep those 2 accountable as well.
Okay, let's talk about the new rules, the Cooey rule. 4 minutes per end to start the first half of the game, and then 4 minutes, 15 seconds, second half. I don't know, whichever of you want to take it. I just want to know your thoughts on the 3 rule changes, but let's take them one at a time. The 4 minutes per end, 4:15 for the second half of the game.
I don't think much of it. We've tried it at a couple events, and it's been a bit of a disaster, I guess you could say. I think it really takes away from the fans too. A lot of what they enjoy is kind of hearing the team strategize and talking about, how an end's gonna play out. And 4 minutes, not a lot of time. We'll see what they do. But I think the timing they have now is better.
Okay. Impact on front end players.
Well, yeah,
'Cause I think it has to impact you guys.
You're never going to get to hear me talk anymore on the broadcast. That's no fun. How am I supposed to get my words in if we're in a rush all the time? Okay, my skip's waving me off. But I mean, I'm with Kevin. I think it sucks on the big difficult ends where you get a million rocks in play. Nice to go down and have a team chat. Nice to have Johnny and Beej in there and give our thoughts and let Kevin hear our opinions about. Like, we don't have that now. Those team chats are almost eliminated except for a timeout. Where on a regular timeout, you bring your coach. No one wants to hear my coach talk about curling. Doesn't know a damn thing about curling. So I think that sucks, and I think you're going to get the blank ends that where you could bank some time to have some extra discussions later in the game. Now they're just going to whistle through, and there'll be 2 minutes. And I mean, I guess that my disappointment in is I don't understand the reasoning for the change. I know you joke it's the Cooey rule, we're a little bit slow sometimes, but like I don't understand the reasoning for it. If there was a good reason for it, I'm all up to hear it, but I haven't heard one of those yet.
The no-tick rule, Benny, that it impacts you personally.
Yeah.
Because you've practiced, obviously,
Sure.
10,000 rocks to get almost perfect at the tick game. Your thoughts on getting rid of the tick?
Well, I think it changes a little bit of your strategy as a team of what you want the score to be coming home. And I think it puts a little bit more heat on your second to make a double peel, the long double peel and the long tight guards, rather than, as a lead, and I think all the leads will say it's exciting to be able to play 2 ticks in the last end coming home. You get a couple big shots where you can impact the game, and we don't get a lot of chances throughout a game or throw even a weekend to win or lose a game for your team. And so feel those nerves that the skips feel all the time. It's awesome, gets you revved up, your juice is flowing, and it shows that you've played a good game to control the hammer throughout that game with a chance to win in the last end. And with that being gone, unfortunate, but I do see the value in having a bunch of rocks and it not being so predictable in the last end for the fans and for the team being tied down coming home. It's the one rule I could at least stomach, but it is what it is, and we'll try it out. I mean, we've tried it before in slams, and it also puts some pressure on your lead to hit the center line, because now if you don't hit the center line, you can still actually play the tick. So there's a little bit of strategy to it. It doesn't necessarily completely eliminate the tick, but both sides need to be pretty sharp.
I want to hear from both on you this one with the no extra ends, but not just the no extra ends, because it changes the game dramatically in one other way too. Instead of a win-loss, 2 choices, now there's going to be 4 choices, 3, 2, 1, 0, depending if you win or lose the draw to the button. 3 points for the outright win, 2 points if you win the draw to the button, 1 point lose draw button, 0 points straight loss. So it's impacting the final board dramatically. Kevin, first, your thoughts on, I guess, first of all, no extra ends in the game, in the round robin portion, but then also four possible outcomes in the game instead of 2.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. You play the whole game to get hammer and the extra, really, and to have it go away like that, just to have a draw the button seems a little silly. But I mean, and hopefully it doesn't come in. I guess we'll see what it's like if it does. I mean, I don't think we've ever played it. And yeah,
I'm not sure it's ever existed before.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I mean, it'll for sure change the strategy, and maybe play for that single point kind of thing. I don't know. I haven't really thought of it a lot yet.
Benny, is there any chance that the reason that they're trying that is because they don't want tiebreakers at the World Championships and international events? So in order to maybe cut down that log jam where you might lose 3 or 4 or 5 teams kind of out of the blue?
Those 3 or 4 or 5 teams deserve a chance. If they're all 8-4 and they're all tied records after a long week, they deserve a chance to play. I can figure out a lot of ways. I could tell them easily how to fix a tiebreaker rather than doing a draw to the button. We've pretty much tried to eliminate that here at the Slams. Any World Curling Tour event that we go to, there's always tiebreakers in place. You never get kicked out on a draw to the button. So certainly to go to your biggest events, your World Championships, Olympic Games, wherever they're going to be tried, to have a draw to the button kick you out would be a real kick in the seeds. And I'd hate to see any team that happen to. And obviously you don't want it to happen to us. But I don't like the rule at all.
Okay, Kev, when it comes to curling, what do you think? I guess what should be done? Because curling right now is growing as fast as any sport in the whole world, summer or winter right now, worldwide. But how do we move it from being semi-professional, if you want to call it that, to full-fledged professional sport?
Oh, geez. It's a tough one.
Yeah, thanks.
Gosh, you want to take a hack?
I haven't asked many people that. It's like I've asked the more experienced cerebral fellows in the game, and ladies as well.
I mean, Obviously, the big thing that stands out to me when I think about amateur and professional sports is money. I mean, I'm not quitting my day job for $50,000 a year. I got kids and I got a wife and I got things to pay. So, if you're talking about, an athlete making like what some of these pro sport athletes are making, I'm all for it. As for how we get there, I think we're still a little bit, I think we're a long ways away from that still, where we're packing 15,000 seat stadiums again, like back in the day, and where TV money's coming in the millions and millions of dollars and that kind of revenue. And as much as I'd like to think that we're maybe there in some parts, in some ways, I still think we have a big stretch to go. And it's not just money. I mean, commitments, training, location of the players, where they're going to be, national training centers, we need all that. And I do think when we look at our landscape of Canadian curling, they're definitely going a more professional route in a couple other countries. We don't want to kill our sport here in Canada, where we have 6 or 7 really good men's teams and 4 or 5 really good women's teams that could compete on the international stage, just to compete with one country or 2 countries that do a professional model already. A little bit tricky here. I don't know the answer, but I'd like to hear your opinion on it. Can I ask you that?
I'm the person asking the questions here.
I don't know the answer. The short answer is I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, as you know, I definitely have some thoughts on that, but we'll bring that up another time because that's not what I was supposed to do here today. Okay, because of your shoulders, I know it's like to get a little sore. I would like to talk about curling and mixed doubles and the amount we play now, the length of season, and of course with that, the length that a person can expect to be able to play this sport going into the future. Because right now, teams that play 4-person curling and of course mixed doubles, the gold medal when you bite, it's the same. But for a person to be able to compete, say 13 weeks on the men's or women's tour, and then another 6 to 7 weeks on the mixed doubles.
Same player, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And injuries. I'd like to hear your thoughts, Benny.
Well, I know I'm not doing that. I mean, I think if...
young players trying to come up, but
still a lot. I mean, I think now, though, they've turned... I think they've seen the effects of, when they used to count every single event you played were all your points. And then they dialed it back to 8. And now I think they're only letting you count a certain amount of points up to a certain date, because it's not all about volume, right? It's about, performing at every event you play, more of a consistent model, and they're going to that. And I think you're going to see that. I think certainly this next quad, obviously, I mean, here's the thing. Dude, who makes up the points? I don't even know. Like I've been curling for 18 years on the tour, and I don't know who makes the points, who decides the points, where the points are going. Like, it's ridiculous. So I think those people are going to have to sit down with, World Curling Federation, Curling Canada, whoever all these associations are, figure out a plan for where maybe 2 events a month count. And you don't have to play 3 every single event. You don't have to play 15 events a year. Like Gushu was a couple of years ago when he was Team Canada, no different than when we were Team Canada in 19. We went from 1st in the world to 10th because we didn't play, because we didn't have to play. We were in everything. But then everyone passes you on points. Same thing as Gushu. At the start of the 2019 season, he was the 10th or 11th ranked team in the world. And I'm like, I don't want to play him. He's the 11th ranked team. So they're going to have to find a way to figure that out and get a better balance of, maybe making the top teams only have to count 6 events rather than 10, 11, 12 to continue with the young teams coming up, because those aren't your best teams. Those are your youngest teams that are maybe playing the most, and there's a big difference.
Guys, thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming in, saying a few words. Love it, and good luck.
All right, be nice in the booth.
Thanks, Kev.
All right.
I didn't realize I was hurting your feelings, Benny.